Good afternoon. Welcome to Sprague Middle School. My name is Elizabeth Bradley, and I get to be the proud principal of this beautiful campus. Please at this time go ahead and silence your cell phones. And at this time, please rise for our invocation that's going to be provided by Keith Rothhouse.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come before you today a grateful and joyful people. We give thanks for all the ways you have blessed us and how you have blessed our community. We're grateful for the freedom we have to gather together and praise your most holy name. Today we ask you to bless our time together as we honor our friend, your servant, Roy Sprague, as we dedicate this school in his honor to your glory. Please bless this beautiful school and the children and the staff that will come here every day seeking wisdom, education, friendship, and community. Please continue to bless our Cyfair community, our school district and its educators, students, and leaders. Give us all wisdom to know your will and to seek to serve our community as you have called us to be of service to you and to one another. God of wisdom and love, you understand our every need even before we ask. Show us your goodness and answer to these prayers so the benefits of this new, beautiful building will be reflected in the lives of our families, students, and community. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. Today we have gathered to honor Roy Sprague, the campus namesake of this beautiful building. I would like to introduce those that are sitting with me on stage. We have school board members Debbie Blackshear, Julie Heineman, our honoree Roy Sprague, our superintendent, Dr. Henry, and Dr. Natalie Blassingame, school board member. And walking up right now, Tom Jackson, school board member. I would also like to recognize our Sprague Middle School staff who are in attendance this afternoon. If you're a Sprague staff member, please stand up. Thank you, Sprague staff members, for coming this afternoon, and thank you, board members and district leaders and family and friends of our honoree Roy Sprague for coming today. At this time, I would like to turn our program over to Dr. Henry, our superintendent.
Good afternoon. To many of you, good afternoon for the second time today. It's just been a fun day of honoring legends and superstars of the Cyfair ISD. Today we're going to recognize and honor Roy Sprague, who many of you have heard me say is a legend in Cyfair ISD and across the state of Texas, and in all honesty, across the country. I think when it comes, and I've actually got some written remarks, Roy, but you know me, I'm spitballing right now. When it comes to school construction, renovation, innovation, there's no one that has more experience and more success than Roy has had. So certainly I was honored and privileged and thankful to have Roy and his expertise in all but the last 6 months of my career in Cyfair ISD, and Roy left me. So, but that's all right. You know, and I did notice there's several other people that left me also. Pam Wells right here, she left me. Where's Stuart Snow? I saw Stuart. Where are you there, Stuart Snow? Our longtime CFO, he left me. Harold Rowe, where are you, Harold? Didn't I see you? Okay, I don't see Harold. Oh, there's Harold. Harold left me a long time ago. Harold had about a year and a half of me, and he cut out quick. So I guess you're the smartest one of the bunch, Harold. No, you only stayed with me a year, Pam. So Pam's smarter than you. But I am really thankful to have worked in such a wonderful place, and a lot was said at our last dedication. Carla always said, hire good people. And of course, when I got here, Roy was already hired, but I did have the opportunity to promote Roy a few years ago to associate superintendent, and certainly, as difficult as it is, Roy, you made me look smart, so I appreciate that. We do have some former board members here, and if you're here and I happen to miss you, please just stand up and we'll let you introduce yourself. Bob Covey, longtime board member right over here. Glad Bob's here. And then Lyda Whittle is also here. There's Lyda over here. So certainly thankful for their service here to our community, volunteer service. Like I said, maybe the craziest people in a school district or school trustees, because they're volunteering. The rest of us are getting paid a little bit, but they take all that abuse for nothing, right, Bob? We also have several namesakes with us here. If you'd please stand when I call your name. Peggy Duryea, I saw Peggy earlier. There she is. Janet Hoover. Mike and Darlene Gerard, right over here to the right. Harold Rowe. Cheryl Saggards. Jim and Pam Wells on the front row. And Roy, and I don't know why, but Teresa didn't highlight it, but Roy Sprague's a namesake also. Roy here also. And I guess we could, after the dedication, we could undedicate it, but I don't suspect we will. So your name's been up for a while, but today is official. Roy Sprague Middle School, which opened in August to 1,446 students. Now, what was it built for, Roy? 1584, so we're nearly full. It'll be full here before long. It's located within the Bridgeland Educational Village site, and Leslie Francis and I were talking before this event. I don't know that there's a prettier place, between all the campuses than right out here. So the facility, all three campuses turned out great, and then all the supporting facilities did also. It is the third and final school to complete the site, which includes Bridgeland High School and Wells Elementary. Sprague is our 20th middle school campus, serving 6th through 8th grade students. Sprague was designed by Arcadis and built by Satterfield and Ponticus Construction. Sprague Middle School is a 1- and 3-story building totaling approximately 260,000 square feet. The site is arranged so that all three campuses surround an exterior courtyard to serve as the hub of educational interaction and a termination point for a pedestrian pathway within the community. The academic wings of Sprague Middle School consist of 3 stories with a central core of science labs on each floor. Collaborative flex spaces are located throughout the educational wings so that students and staff can work in a variety of settings. An operable partition exists between the Sprague and Wells cafeteria, allowing the flexibility to create one large space. I would like to recognize representatives from Arcadis who are here today, and I know there are some here, so please stand when I call your name. Mark French, there's Mark. I didn't see you earlier, Mark. Well, stand up, Mark. You got to stand up. Jay McNeil, Laura Carroll, Carlos Perez, Gene Simmons, and the rest of the Arcadis team that's here. Would you please stand so we can acknowledge you? Thank you very much. I would also like to recognize Satterfield and Ponticus Construction. And we've had a lot of projects with Satterfield and Ponticus, and I always appreciate their attention to detail and the way they give back to the community, and certainly Arcadis does that also. But S&P, y'all just been great people to work with, and we're so appreciative of that partnership and relationship that we have. If you're here when I call your name, please stand. George Ponticus, Charlie Pope, Eric Blankenship, Mel Rasmussen, Patrick Ball, Dan Ben, and others on the S&P team. Would you please stand so we can acknowledge you? And that's not like Gilligan's Island. Those guys are important too. It's not like and the rest. I mean, y'all are important. So we appreciate all the S&P team. I'd also like to introduce Dan Gross. Dan, if you would stand, he's the CFISD Director of Design and Facilities Planning in the back. Stephen Bryan, Director of Construction Field Services. Jody Doble, Director of Contract Management. And Shannon Thompson, Director of Project Management, over here. And then also the rest of the CFISD team who work in facility service, who managed and provided oversight on this project. Would you please stand? They only had one other helper, apparently. There are also two other employees I would like to introduce. These men were crucial in making sure the building was finished and ready for the staff and students. Associate Superintendent Matt Morgan and Assistant Superintendent Jesse Claiborne. I said, some of you may not know, but we had a dedication right before this one at Brosnahan Elementary, and of course, everyone knows that ever worked in Cypress-Fairbanks ISD, Harold Rowe is Mr. Customer Service, right, Marnie? Mr. Customer Service. And I've always said Matt's kind of the new one, although he's not quite there yet, Matt, but you're getting there, okay? So we appreciate Matt and the leadership that he's provided. And one of the big advantages we had, Matt was internal when he was promoted, and he had the opportunity to work underneath Roy and learn a lot of things from Roy. And it's so nice to have such a strong group of people ready to take on the next level of responsibility. So we're thankful for Matt. Now to the main reason we are here today. It gives me great pleasure to participate in dedicating the school in honor of a person, an educator, architect like Roy Sprague. Roy is the consummate professional. He's smart, he's innovative, and he's service-oriented. But most of all, he's a good person. He's a good man. I know that his wife and his family will attest to that. Roy, if you need something, Roy's, if he hadn't already done it, he'll do it for you. To know Roy is to know what customer service is. I know that our principals and directors throughout this great school district would tell you that Roy, and it continues on through Matt, that our operations team are already thinking about how to fix the issues that they might have and certainly respond when needed. Roy, I'd just like to say thank you for all the support that you have given me personally the last 12 and a half, well, just 12 years, because you left me. He left me. He really was loyal for 12 years. Now, Roy is loyal, and he's provided great service and great value to this community, and I would say this very comfortably, that he saved this community hundreds of millions of dollars because of the work he's done. In fact, he's been recognized by lieutenant governors. He's been recognized by governors. He's been recognized by commissioners in our own state for a lot of the innovative processes that Cypher ISD has done over the last 25, 30 years, and that's thanks to Roy. So I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Bradley. But Roy, thank you for your service, and I look forward to honoring you today. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce you to our Sprague Choir under the direction of Marie Pariseau Olson. Please turn your attention over this way. so much. A small group of our extensive choir that's here performing today. Thank you, Ms. Paraso Olson. She's done a beautiful job as a staff member here opening our building and pulling together students from all different campuses as they've all been part of this inaugural year that we've opened, and she's done a wonderful job, so thank you very much. We do have two guest speakers today. We have Ms. Pamela Wells and Irene Negaglione. Pam Wells will be coming now first to speak. Please welcome her.
I think it would be appropriate for us to thank these students again. They did such a wonderful job. Thank you. This choir is just a reflection of the opportunity for all that Dr. Henry and the team believe in here, and fine arts is such a big part of that. So kudos to your choir. I'm shorter than everyone else here, so. It is such a privilege and pleasure to be asked to speak at the dedication of my colleague and good friend, Roy Sprague Jr. Although technically I was Roy's supervisor, we were true collaborators for 15 years. Our work together started soon after he arrived in Cypher when I was asked to organize my very first bond study process. That 1998 bond election was successful, and then Superintendent Rick Berry decided that Roy and I had worked so well together that he should move facilities planning and construction to my area of responsibility for as an associate superintendent. I couldn't have been happier because I had already developed such respect for Roy. Actually, Rick Berry recently said hiring Roy Sprague was a great decision for me. He was always hardworking, conscientious, and capable of handling multiple projects, no matter how many we had. Roy and I collaborated on 4 of the 6 successful bond programs that he was responsible for implementing during his 26-year career in CFISD, collectively providing more than $5 billion in new facilities and renovated facilities. As a leader, Roy was a good judge of talent, surrounding himself with the best in their fields. He created diverse and effective collaborations both outside and within the district. One of those collaborators, Dr. Linda Macias, Chief Academic Officer, shared that she always appreciated that Roy kept student learning at the forefront of designing and building our campuses, and that he ensured that she became knowledgeable about the connection between the design of a school building and student learning. Roy was promoted, as Dr. Henry said several times, ultimately being responsible for facilities, maintenance, real estate, custodial, operations, energy management, transportation, procurement, and nutritional services. I could hardly say all of that. Clearly, he had huge job responsibilities, but with a smile, a can-do attitude, and by developing great teams, Roy had a way of making it all happen. Dan Gross, Director of Design and Facilities Planning, one of those talented leaders that Roy nurtured, shared that Roy had an amazing collaborative spirit and led to the highest standards. He frequently encouraged his team with truisms, what I call Spragueisms, like, there is no better time than the present to accomplish any task or goal. Another frequent admonition that every consultant, contractor, and district facility staff member in the audience will remember: do the job right the first time. Otherwise, it will take longer to fix it and cost twice as much. I heard him say that many times. This focus on quality and attention to detail are what made Roy and his team so successful. Although Roy has many positive traits, one questionable attribute that he has is his favorite color choice: purple and gold, which he still proudly, and I have to say sometimes insufferably, wears to support his LSU Tigers. But lest you think that Roy was all work and no play, let me tell you about Roy Sprague, the nationally ranked USBC bowler. Roy has been bowling since he was 6 years old. His parents bowled in leagues several nights of the week, so he spent many hours doing his homework at the bowling alley. Roy has been participating in the USBC National Open Bowling Tournament, meaning that he qualified for 19 years. And in 2022, he placed 36th nationally in team event. Now I want everyone to listen carefully to this. His high score is 299. Now he continues to strive. Yeah, I think we should clap for that. I do. But he continues to strive for that perfect 300 game. Even more so now since his son Michael actually accomplished it this year. Yeah, we should probably clap for Michael too. Okay, so Roy has fun bowling and playing golf, but I know that he gets the most enjoyment from being with Cindy, his family, and most especially being RJ to his grandson, Evan. On a personal note, I am so appreciative to Dr. Henry, the administration, and the board that this particular middle school is being named after Roy. Years ago, Roy and I, members of his facilities team, Linda Macias, along with Irene Gaglione and some of her colleagues, went to a conference focused on innovation in school design. We worked together as a cross-functional team to review research about ways to use the built environment to enhance student learning. We discussed things like reading nooks, collaboration in outdoor learning spaces, sound enhancement, exposing technology and environmental systems as learning exhibits, and many other ideas that are now included in the design of our district schools. But it was at that conference that we also collaborated to develop the educational village concept, to design schools to be in closer proximity to make it more likely that collectively they would be a close-knit educational community. The educational village that Dr. Henry mentioned, this concept has enhanced opportunities for stronger collegial relationships among teachers and staff across the schools, vertical alignment of vision, curriculum, and professional development, and it facilitates close peer mentorships and relationships among students and even parents. In addition, the village concept encourages flexibility, and Dr. Henry already mentioned this. That wall back in the back can actually open. And if there is a need for a larger student performance or parent meetings or instructional activities, the wall will allow for a much larger space. This is a perfect example of the marriage of efficiency and flexibility. And it seems fitting that Sprague Middle School now joins with Bridgeland High School and Wells Elementary to complete the educational village prototype that we envisioned together so many years ago. I'm really excited about what Elizabeth and the other two principals and their teams have already done and will continue to do to create dynamic and purposeful connections. Roy, you've been responsible for constructing more than 60% of the district's square footage and have touched every single existing facility with needed renovations. It is one of the reasons why you were selected as one of CFISD's 75 most influential honorees at the district's anniversary celebration. Dr. Henry can tell you that often districts have vast differences in the quality of new and older facilities. However, your leadership was so impactful because your North Star has always been to provide equitable facilities across the district so that all teachers can teach and all students can learn in healthy, efficient, and effective spaces. Coupled with that belief has been your absolute integrity and trustworthiness. You were determined always to get the best value for the taxpayers of Cypress-Fairbanks ISD, and under your leadership, the district has always provided even more than was promised to the district's patrons. It was a privilege to work with you closely over these years and to watch you grow as a leader. I am so pleased that you have received this great honor, being the namesake of Roy J. Sprague Jr. Middle School. And so now, Roy, as you continue to pursue that final pin for a perfect bowling score, I know you will also enjoy supporting the students, staff, and parents at Sprague Middle School. Congratulations, friend, well deserved. And it is my honor to introduce another good friend who's done a lot for this school district, Irene Gaglione.
Good afternoon. It is never fun following Camwells. I am honored to be speaking here today in this beautifully designed building as we celebrate the dedication of Roy Sprague Middle School. I met Roy in 1997 as I was one of the architects working in Cypher when he came to work here. One of our first interactions was the summer of 1997 when we were trying to get substantial completion for a project that I managed, Cypress-Fairbanks High School. We had worked hard to get the building ready and for acceptance. And when we walked with Roy, he looked around and said, "It's not ready," and left. I was really not happy. This is my first big substantial project to manage. And as I drove home, I kept talking to myself saying, he has no clue. Who is he to tell me that the project is not ready? Well, obviously he was right. And from that moment forward, he has been right all the time. After a few years of working together, we realized we had the same work ethic. We worked hard, we worked many late hours, and we were both passionate about providing the best environments for students to learn. Due to this passion, we were both appointed to the boards of different organizations that focus on improving the places where children learn. While on these board assignments, we got the great opportunity to travel around the United States and Canada to learn about new trends in environmental design, as well as best practices in the field of educational planning and operations. While on those trips, Roy taught me many valuable lessons. For example, if you are up a little late in the conference hospitality suite, which I know some folks here can attest to. I see Newman, I see Todd, I see Schulte, I see many people. And hotel security comes knocking on the door. You just need to go hide behind a curtain in the corner. See, Roy taught me that. Also, if you're at a board strategic planning session in Carefree, Arizona, and you have to walk back to your hotel at night, it is very important that you walk in the middle of the streets so snakes can't get you. Now, he failed to explain to me what to do about snakes on other occasions. For example, well, you see Roy and Cindy very kindly opened their home to me on one of my business trips to Houston so I could save the hotel cost. Roy, however, never told me what to do when I opened my bedroom door in the morning to find a snake on the floor. If you want to know what happened next, just come find me. All kidding aside, we did travel around the United States and Canada to learn best practices and trends. However, what very quickly became evident to me was that we weren't going to learn much. We weren't learning new ideas or implementation from others. Everybody wanted to learn from Roy. Everybody wanted to know how he was handling the fast growth of the district, the aging facilities, sustainability, maintenance, operational efficiencies, and innovative design. There was not a single conference where we attended where he wasn't surrounded by people asking questions and taking notes. It was not much more than a month ago that we coincided in Chicago at a Healthy Building Summit, and he was asked to sit on a panel of public sector owners to review best practices as it related to building design and how to maintain healthy buildings. Roy was on the panel, along with representatives from the Richland School District in South Carolina, Prince William County School District in Virginia, and Michigan State University. As the moderator asked questions about practices in planning, design, and operations, there was not one single person on the panel or in the audience that didn't look at Roy after he shared what he implemented here in Cypher that didn't say, I never thought of doing that. I need to learn how you did that. I need to talk to you more. Again, these panelists were from large school districts across the United States, as well as Michigan State University, yet they were all looking at Roy. You see, If you didn't know this, Dr. Henry alluded to it, Roy has set the standard when it comes to planning, designing, building, and maintaining school facilities in the U.S. There's not one other person that has had such a significant impact as he has had. When anyone asks any question regarding facilities, they all go, "What would Roy do?" I have spent my entire career focused on educational facilities, and there's no one that comes anywhere close to Roy, which is why I consider him such a mentor. So, I hope that future Sprague Cubs learn from Roy's passion for designing the best learning environments for students. I hope that they learn his love for designing spaces that inspire awe and elicit learning. I hope to learn about the importance of design that puts function over form, as well as learn about scale and context. Most importantly, I hope to learn that the importance of starting all with a solid foundation. You see, there's no building that can be built without a correct foundation. So close. The foundation of my friendship with Roy is built on his honesty, loyalty, and unwavering support. When life has thrown obstacles at me, Roy has always said, "You got this." I hope Sprague Cubs learn to be loyal friends and supporters, building the best foundation for their life and future. I wish I could go back in time to attend Roy Sprague Middle School, but since I can't, I will live vicariously through the experiences these Cubs will have. Congratulations, Roy. Can't think of anybody more deserving. Now, if you will please direct your attention to the screens as a short video has been produced to capture the essence of our namesake and the beginning of Roy Sprague Middle School. This video will become a permanent part of the building's history and will always be available for community members and staff to view who will learn and work here for many years to come. Please join me in watching the video tribute to Roy Sprague Middle School.
Roy's knowledge in this area is vast and it's deep, and he's a registered architect.
Roy was recognized internationally and nationally in organizations because facility planners, he's in an elite group.
He's literally been responsible for billions of dollars worth of bond programs, of school construction.
He loves the kids and he really advocates.
He's at the top of the list.
When I had an opportunity to work in my uncle's office in the summertime, I was really fascinated with the drawings and everything, and it really inspired me to be an architect. And so I went to LSU and got my degree in Bachelor of Architecture in 1981 and graduated there. And I moved to Houston, Texas after that. And one of my former clients, Spring ISD, when I worked initially in Houston doing educational facilities, needed a supervisor of construction. So I put my name in the hat, and fortunately I was hired there. And let's see, 32 years later, I'm sitting here at Sprague Middle School.
I have known Roy Sprague for more than 22 years, and I actually mark how long I've known him by the ages of my children, because I first met him when I was pregnant with my first child, who's now 22. He was the director of construction and facilities, and we started doing land acquisitions together. They brought him in from Spring with his experience. He's a registered architect, which is part of the reason you can't read his handwriting, I think. But it's beautiful, it just looks like hieroglyphics.
This was never a job for Roy. This was a mission. I mean, it was absolutely his mission to deliver what this district needed. And there wasn't another place where you could go and prove yourself like here, because we were the fastest growing district in the state.
We oversee the entire construction of the schools, whether it's a new school, a remodel, an add-on. And Roy was demanding of both his whole team, himself, and our team. Roy is a fair person, a tough person, and he is all about Cy-Fair.
We really got to work together directly on an actual project when Roy was here at Cypher ISD, and I think that was the first time I worked with him in Cypher was 1998, and that was at the beginning of Goodson Middle School. And Roy being unique in that, he's an architect. He also has a developer background.
I actually met Roy. I was an architect working in the district, and Roy joined the school district and immediately jumped into the construction projects that were going on here in Cypher, and immediately jumped into all the bond planning and all the things associated with a very fast-growing district.
It was amazing the growth the district experienced early on in my career here at Cypher. In fact, I remember 2 years in a row we grew at about 7,000 students per year. And it was very difficult to be able to plan and construct and get buildings ready for that period of time. So one of the strategies we utilized was using prototype designs for our facilities, and we would develop a design for a certain site, but design it in such a way that it's easily adaptable to work on other school sites that we would have. That saved anywhere from 3 to 6 months of design time, and that enabled us and postured us to be in better position to be able to open the schools when the campuses were needed to meet the tremendous growth the district had.
He and I worked so well together. We kind of developed our rhythm, and he would be so excited when he would come in, when he had worked on the first draft of a contract. He would come in and he would say, well, your assistant general counsel is, reporting, and here's the first draft. And he could not be more proud than when there was almost no red ink on that contract when I would give it back to him, and he would always say, well, you taught me well.
If you look at the history, back in 1998, we started out with a $264 million bond program. The next bond program in 2001 was $470 million. 2004 was $713 million. 2007 was $807 million. And we did one in 2014, which was at $1.2 billion. And then our bond program that was passed in 2019 was $1.7 billion.
Understanding the language of an architect, which is somewhat quite unique because it comes from a perspective of construction, and there's a lot of unique lingo. And he acts as a great liaison of understanding that part, but also understanding the curriculum, what the instructional staff needs. He becomes an interpreter between the various stakeholders.
We needed to look 5 and 10 and 15 years down the road to see what our future needs were. So it gave us the opportunity to plan accordingly and be better prepared to address the needs to serve our students.
Roy, being as intelligent and creative as he is, he understands the industry so well. I have seen him invent new ways to solve problems, to streamline processes so that buildings can get done on time and that they can remain under budget. And I think that's probably one of the qualities about Roy that really stands out is he's very innovative, and he always seems to improve the process.
He's the first person to say Happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day, to all of us in a group text. And he's just a very kind man, but don't let the kindness fool you. He is also very tough. He was firm, but very appropriate with outside contractors in our negotiations.
Roy is what's known as a trunk slammer. So when you have Roy on your team and you arrive at the golf course an hour and a half or 2 hours before, just as the golf carts are getting ready to drive away to the first tee box, here comes Roy. You hear the trunk slam, carrying the club. His schedule is such that has become a norm for Roy.
When we were doing the Cypher High School renovations back in 1999, 2000, we had a lot of work to do in a very short period of time. And so me and my team, as well as the architects, we wound up actually doing some construction work ourselves to get classrooms ready. And we had to learn how to put ceiling tile in the ceiling grid. And we weren't the best at it in the world, but we got ceiling tiles in there. But what's been funny about it, every time we see each other, we always call ourselves the Tile Boys.
There was an architectural firm, and their signature was to have a really big clock on the clock tower, or in an elementary school, the whole wall would be up. And it gets to the point where it's only right twice a day. And so I told Roy, don't you put any more BACs in these buildings, cut them out. He said, BAC, I said, big ass clocks, do not put them in these buildings.
Roy and I didn't always see eye to eye, but over the years, I like to say I trained him, and he'll tell you that he trained me. I learned a tremendous amount from Roy, and I really have enjoyed the last 25 years working for Cypher.
Roy is a doer, and he will never ask anyone to do anything he hasn't done twice as much, twice as hard himself.
He's just been an amazing component. When we look at school district construction offices in the Houston area and beyond and throughout Texas and to a large extent the United States, it would be very difficult to find anyone that even comes close to the accomplishments that Roy has had over the years.
This is probably one of the most deserved school dedications, because the guy who put the buildings on the ground and validated to the board and to the voters, we gave you what you wanted, and what they said they would give, and it's done. He did that so many times. Well, and he's still doing it. He's getting those details ironed out here in this facility.
The best excitement I always had every year when we opened a brand new school, especially in elementary school, when the kids are getting off of the bus and they just stop off there and say, wow, y'all built this for me. And yes, we did. We want you to have a great experience while you're here in our facilities and be motivated to do what they want to do to reach their dreams and goals in life. It's very exciting. It shows the hard work I put in for the school district and making sure I did what was best for students. And it was just an honor for the board to acknowledge that and agree to allow my name to be on this building.
Roy, congratulations. I cannot think of a greater honor for a career of service to Cypher ISD of having a legacy in Sprague Middle School. And the fact that it's part of the educational village concept, which is something that you advocated for, I think is even more of a special honor. Congratulations, my friend.
Roy, thank you very much for the 25 years we worked together. You were a great person to work for, and I'm really, really happy and proud for you that forever you got your name on a school in Cypher.
Roy, hey, congratulations on this incredible day. The fact that this campus is named after you is nothing short of amazing. And you've been an unbelievable facilities guy for so long in the district. You've saved money, you've brought programs to the district, and I just can't congratulate you enough. And I'm so humbled and so proud to be here today, and certainly proud to be able to give this message. Thanks so much, Roy, for everything you've done for our industry, everything you've done for the architects, the engineers, and more than anything, thanks for all that you've done for the kids in Cypher and Texas. Thank you.
Roy, congratulations. There is no higher honor than having your name on a building, and there is no one else I can think of who deserves it more than you. You have poured your life, your heart, everything into this district, and it is very fitting that this district has recognized that you are worthy of a namesake, that you epitomize a namesake, and that you are special.
Roy, I can't believe you made me drive all the way down here just to be on some silly film telling you that you did a great job. But I was very happy to do it. I'm honored to do it because I know what you have done for this district. You put your heart, your soul, and all your energy into delivering campuses that students, teachers, administrators, boards, and voters can appreciate. I'm proud of you, proud to call you friend. Enjoy the next chapter of your life.
I would now like to introduce School Board President Tom Jackson.
Roy, you and I actually met the very first year that you became an employee here. But a few years after that, we became friends, both I with you as well as with Cindy, as band dads at Langham Creek High School. We became better friends a few years after that, when working with Pam Wells, we put together a presentation that went to every high school. And in fact, at the last one, over 600 patrons showed up. And a key portion of that was proving that the money that the voters gave this district were well spent. I was privileged to be present when the state comptroller came to our district to identify best practices, and she singled out some of the work that you did, which did in fact show up on the video. I have been told that you oversaw the largest K through 12 construction project in the history of the United States. That in and of itself is significant, but to do so and be lauded with best practices, low cost per square footage compared to other districts, but more than that, with high integrity. We trusted your integrity, but as trustees, we also subjected you and your department to 2 special audits, both of which came up golden. Truly a tribute to you. I would make a note to everybody here that in the state of Texas, never before has an American architect ever been honored to have a school of any size from any district named after him. Generally, architects are forgotten, even though the buildings they design and oversee the construction of will last many lifetimes. And so I am privileged to be given this honor to read the proclamation for you. Whereas Roy Sprague, Jr., AIA, served the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District in multiple administrative roles for 26 years, served the public education sector for 32 years, and worked in architecture, construction, and facilities management for 42 years until his retirement. Whereas Mr. Sprague established the standard for school planning, design, construction, and operations, creating innovative, next-generation learning and work environments with a keen eye for ensuring they were addressed while remaining focused on student success and community inclusion in the process. Whereas Mr. Sprague was a lifelong learner possessing a broad knowledge of facilities management, architecture, and real estate. Whereas Mr. Sprague's expertise was recognized with the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Southern Region of the Association of Learning Environments, A4LE, which also awarded him fellow status. Whereas Mr. Sprague was a steadfast champion of opportunity for all students in Cypress-Fairbanks ISD, the state of Texas, and beyond, believing his role was to provide equitable facilities across the district so teachers could teach and students could learn in healthy, efficient, and effective spaces. Whereas Mr. Sprague was known as a loyal, collaborative, dedicated, and hardworking friend and colleague who possessed a servant heart and was always available to quickly solve a problem. Whereas Mr. Sprague served as a compassionate mentor to hundreds of colleagues, many of whom he helped blossom into leadership roles. Whereas Mr. Sprague remained committed to advancing the understanding of public schools for several professional organizations in which he served. Whereas Mr. Sprague created effective partnerships with architects, contractors, vendors, and many departments and team leaders across Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Whereas Mr. Sprague felt that his responsibility was to the students, staff, board of trustees, and ultimately the taxpayers in Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. And now, therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District that the school located at 10611 Mason Road in Cypress, Texas is hereby named Roy Sprague Jr. AIA Middle School.
Wow, tough act to follow all these comments and everything when all you're trying to do is just do your job and do it to the best of your ability. Just this. Dr. Henry, members of the board, Ms. Bradley, and distinguished guests, I am so deeply honored and humbled to be the namesake of Sprague Middle School. This certainly is the pinnacle of my career and the highest honor I have ever received, to be able to provide 32 years of public service. I've always told people I had a great job, and I do community service and get paid for it. And it was just wonderful to have the opportunity to be able to work with some great individuals that we have in the school district. It has been an absolute privilege to have had the opportunity to create high-performance, cost-effective, healthy, and quality learning environments to serve all our students and staff over my 26-year career here in Cypress-Fairbanks. None of this would have been possible without the incredible support I received over the years from the Board of Trustees, my dedicated staff and colleagues, our district partners, our Cypress-Fairbanks ISD community, and most importantly, my family. I want to take this time to thank the many folks that have supported me throughout this wonderful journey. And Dr. Henry, it's about a 20-minute speech, if you don't mind. Dr. Henry, yeah. Dr. Henry always gives us a hard time about keeping things brief. I'll try to keep it somewhat brief, but I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this incredible honor. It's just been an incredible experience to work with you all and to do the job that we do, and all our past board members that are here. Thank you all for your support. It's just been wonderful. Dr. Henry and the cabinet, what an amazing team we had. I was glad to be a part of it, and certainly miss working with you guys, but retirement is nice, so you will enjoy it, no doubt. All my teams that we worked with, facilities planning, construction, maintenance, operations, nutritional services, procurement services, transportation, energy management, I may have left somebody out, sorry. But what an incredible job these teams do. They're the behind-the-scenes hero every single day. A lot of times the campus wouldn't even know we had a problem, but we were working on that problem at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that the air was working and the heat was on, so the students had a comfortable environment to work in. I can't say enough about those teams. These teams work through many disasters. We've had, when I first became the COO for the school district, my first challenge was in July, and we had a fire at Hamilton Middle School. And we had to get that building back up and running for the first day of school in August. We had to survive Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Ike. We've dealt with the tax day flood, the Memorial Day flood, miscellaneous power outages throughout the year. But these men and women just did what it took with a smile on their face to make sure everything was accomplished so that the kids would have a good instructional environment when they came to school. Thanks to my incredible team I had the opportunity to work with every day, Matt Morgan, as he's our current COO, and you have my chair. Darren Crawford, as well as Colleen Gallagher and Tammy Warren. I had an incredible team to work with. Those are all my direct reports, and truly appreciated working with them every single day. Elizabeth and the Sprague staff, I can't say enough. Thank you for all that you do for the students here, and also making Cindy and I just feel so special when we come here. It's an amazing feeling. You guys are awesome. Keith, thank you so much for the wonderful invocation. I appreciate you coming out and saying those wonderful words. The students of Sprague Middle School, I know they left, but they're just truly awesome. The choir did a fantastic job today, and I can tell you, every time I come here, it's just so excited. The kids are excited to see me. I feel like I'm a celebrity. I'm not Taylor Swift by any means, but certainly they always welcome us here. And in fact, they always ask the question, do you own the building? Well, technically, I own a little bit because I do pay taxes here in the school district, but only a small part of it, unfortunately. But I can't wait to see the successes the students will have here under your leadership. It's been an awesome experience. Thanks to all the speakers in the video, taking time out of your busy schedule to participate as part of the dedication ceremony. Dr. Anthony, as he mentioned in the video, the BAS, or the BAC I should say, but he also did not like pastel colors. So he always told us never use the mauve color in our buildings or I would be fired. Fortunately, I listened to him and I didn't get fired. Mark French, thank you. It's been a great honor to work with you these 26 years. What a job y'all did here at the Educational Village. I truly appreciate you all being out here and all the support you provided me over the years, and truly call you as a friend. Thank you. Marnie, I can't say enough about you. You know, you've been great to work with, and you stole my thunder about the assistant general counsel. I actually called it an associate general counsel, but one thing I am very proud about is the fact that we've done over $5 billion worth of construction. And fortunately, my job was to keep Marnie out of my business, and I was successful in doing that. We never had any litigation on any of our projects. We always found a way to find a solution to resolve any disagreements we may have had. And a lot of that was because of her advice in the back of house, guiding me along the way to hopefully not make a stupid mistake and get us in courthouse. But we were very successful in being able to do that. Thank you for all your support all these years. George Montikis, I don't think is here today, but George and I, as you heard in the video, he and I kind of started out on a very rough start. Gleason Elementary School is the first school they did for us, and the first meeting he came to was our pre-construction conference. And as we kind of got halfway through the meeting, he just said, I want to know how change orders are done. And that's the only thing I want to hear about. So I looked at the architect and I said, get him in my office the next day because I want to have a discussion about it. The very next day we had a meeting, and I explained to George that we don't do change orders in Cypher ISD. And we've worked through the issues, and we've been very successful in minimizing change orders throughout the district. But I've always appreciated the relationship with George. Dan Boggio, who's not here, he's been one of my mentors over the years, and I appreciate his guidance along the way. He got me involved in A4LE, I'm our CFPI back at the time, and appreciated that guidance along the way. A special thanks to my two speakers here. Pam Wells and I have worked together, as you've heard, for many, many years. I've learned so much from her over the years in learning how to put bond programs together from a political and a community basis. And I appreciate that association that we've had all these years. Irene, I can't say enough. You know, you and I are very, very good friends, and I've just enjoyed the relationship. I've learned a lot from you, and hopefully you learned a few things from me along the way, especially how to go hide. And, you know, ask her the story after, and she'll tell you. Thank you for not relaying all the details of that. But we've really become very close friends, and we both have had the passion of providing quality learning environments for students, not only in the state of Texas, but across the nation. Special thanks to the entire project team. IBI Group Arcadis, y'all did a fantastic job on this project. It clearly shows when you walk around the building the quality level that we have in the design as well as the construction. Satterfield and Ponticus, y'all have done a great job, and what an honor to have you build the building that has my name on it, especially with our long partnership we've had for many, many years. Truly appreciate that. Bobby Galvin, our senior project manager, thanks for all your effort in getting the building ready. We really appreciate it. And all the facility staff, Dan and the rest of the team that's been involved in the design of not only this project, but all the projects we've worked with together. I've had many mentors over the years that I need to thank, and a lot of them are sitting in this room, so I'm probably going to forget a few, so please bear with me. All the superintendents I've had the privilege of working with, Mr. Berry, Dr. Anthony, as well as Dr. Henry. It's just been an honor to serve y'all and provide the services we've had to this school district. Mark Rufino, who was the first person that hired me to come to Cypher ISD, as well as Bill Stice. Bill was on the interview committee, he and Claude Yost, and so I always gave him a hard time about, well, if you get to be mad at me, you need to be mad at yourself because you hired me. But we've had a great run. Bill, appreciate you being here and all that you've done, and I truly appreciate our friendship over the years. Pam, again, I can't speak enough. I've learned so much about school administration from you when we had the opportunity to work together. Stuart, learned so much about school finance. I truly appreciate our association, and we enjoy playing golf every weekend, so we maintain that relationship and friendship all the time, so that's great. My fellow facility planners, contractors, and architects that are here, thank you for all you've done the last 26 years to support our district, to support me and our team. I think we all learned from each other. Hopefully y'all learned a few things from us at Cypher, but y'all did a great job in terms of providing quality design facilities for us and keeping them within budget so we can keep our board and our community happy. I also want to send thanks to all the folks that have taken the time to come out for this celebration. And last but not least, I want to thank Nina Flores, as well as our communication department, Vanessa and the rest of the team for creating that wonderful video. It was wonderful. I wasn't sure what was going to be included in it with some of the folks I invited. After I invited them, I said, maybe I shouldn't have invited some of those. I don't know what would come out in the video with that. Now I want to give a special thanks to my family. That I can't say enough about the support I've gotten out of the family all these years, with all the late nights I spent at board meetings and committee meetings and walking school projects to make sure schools were ready for the first day of school. Basically, Cindy had to raise our boys, probably more by herself than not me being there. My two boys understood what I was doing from that end of it. But our family has a history of being in Cy-Fair ISD. I think Cindy went through Jersey Village, Holbrook, and Dean. Her two sisters also went through at Cy Creek and Blyle. And then my two boys went through Copeland, Thornton, as well as Lane Creek High School. I think they turned out pretty well, so I think our school district does a pretty effective job in producing quality and exceptional folks coming out of the district. Our oldest son, Tommy, and his wife, Samantha, and my grandson, Evan Apollo Sprague. Come on. We've been practicing this all day. There we go. Very good, Evan. Thank you for being here. He's my buddy. He's our first and only grandson so far, and I can tell you, if you don't have grandkids, it's a wonderful feeling. It's unbelievable. I look forward to seeing him every day. Unfortunately, they live in Santa Barbara. My son and his wife are both neuroscientists. They're professors at the University of California in Santa Barbara, and they're very, very smart. I think I always tell everybody they'd skipped the generation and went to him. Let's see, Michael and Angela, thank you for being here. Angela is an optometrist in Denver, Colorado. I try to make my eye doctor visits when I go see them, so she is my eye doctor. Michael works for a company out of Austin, Texas, but they live in Denver, Colorado, and he's the director of sales engineering for a company called Clearblade, and has been very, very successful. He's one that went through an internship program in college, and that company hired him after school, and been there 10 plus years now, Michael. Yeah. And I want to thank my sister Debbie for coming from all the way from California. She lives in San Diego. Thanks for taking the long trip here. My sister Patty, who lives in New Orleans, was unable to attend, but truly appreciate all the support they gave me growing up, trying to keep me out of trouble, helping with girlfriend problems and all the other things to get me through college. So I couldn't be here today without their support. My two sisters-in-laws, Linda Nichols, stand up, Linda. She's a massage therapist, so if anybody needs a good massage, I tell you, Linda, I'd give you a good plug here, so I highly recommend her. My other sister-in-law, Carolyn, yeah, and her husband, Lowell, and my favorite nephew is Jackson, and Marissa, his wife. We also have our good friends here, Johnny and Marcy Cooper, that we've been best friends with for a very, very long time. I'm not sure I've seen Steve. Is Steve and Alan here yet? I don't see him. Oh, there they are. Okay. I didn't see you walk in. Steve's my best friend in high school, and Alan was too, and we were roommates in college, and I appreciate them taking the trip from Baton Rouge to come see us here. Thanks for being here, guys. And Dale, who's another good friend of mine, Dale Sanji, he and I graduated as architects at LSU in 1981, and we've become very, very good friends over the last few years. We had a long period of time where we didn't talk to each other, and we went to a reunion, and then ever since then we've been keeping in touch with each other. Thanks for being here, Dale. I know I haven't got to it yet. You don't read my speech. My niece, my favorite niece, she couldn't be here with her husband. They live up in Dallas area. I also want to recognize my parents, Roy and Pat, and along with my in-laws, Tom and Pat. Their support over these years has been tremendous, and I wouldn't be here today without the support and guidance they gave me all these years. I know they're looking down on us and doing a big smile and doing a happy dance right now for us. Special thanks to my cousins. See, I was getting to it. I haven't seen them in many, many years, but they made a special trip to come be part of this celebration. Their dad was an architect and my father's uncle. And I want to introduce Laura P. and her husband Rich. Can you stand up? They're being shy. Suzanne and Tim Lentz. Dad Pauline. And my fourth cousin, Linda, and her husband couldn't make the trip here. But thank y'all so much for being here. It's such an honor to have y'all here. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all. And I've already talked about Steve and Alan, so I jumped ahead there. Okay, I want to take this time to do this special recognition to all the teachers and out there, as I would not be standing here today before you if I did not have good teachers along the way to guide me and consult me to do what I'm doing now. Growing up, I was destined to be in the construction business. My dad was a general contractor. My uncle, as you heard, was an architect. And my two other uncles were in the business of, one was an architectural draftsman and another was a painter. And that's where I got my inspiration in terms of going through school and becoming an architect. I learned the art of the detail from my dad. He was a general contractor building custom homes and light commercial projects in New Orleans. My dad, who served in the Navy, was a master carpenter by trade and had an incredible eye for detail. During the summer months, he would always take me to go see all these construction projects and during the summer and watch concrete pours, I watched drill piers going in, you name it. But one day he tried to have me build a small bench. Unfortunately, that bench didn't meet his inspection and I had to rebuild it 3 times. So Dad taught me always to do it right the first time. And if you're going to do something right, do it and put the effort into it so you only have to do it once. So you heard some of the speakers kind of talk about that. That's where I got it from, my dad. While in high school, I had a CTE teacher that taught me architectural drafting. And he really was the motivator to continue because I enjoyed drafting and doing the drawings. And that was one of the motivations that kept me to move forward with becoming an architect. Because growing up, initially I wanted to be a heart surgeon or a pro golfer. And the way I play golf now, there's no way I could be a pro golfer, I can assure you. And during college, I had a professor, Dale could relate to this because he had the same professor, Smothers. We had our design process class, and the night before we were up all night working on our design project, and I fell asleep in his class. So he decided to throw an eraser at me, and for the next 30 minutes, he kind of preached to me how I would never make it to be an architect. And so I would love for him to still be alive, but I'm sure he's looking down and seeing that I did turn out to be okay, and do have a name on the building with that. As you heard, I started my career in 1981. I went to work for SHWSC. They did K-12 educational facilities. And what was interesting, after working there 3 years, I hated doing schools. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to do real estate development type projects and doing commercial office and retail and multifamily. So Cindy and I moved and we went to Dallas, and then we moved to Phoenix and back to Dallas, and then we went to San Diego. And eventually she told me, we're going back to Houston whether you stay here in San Diego or not, after I got laid off. So I think I made the right decision. But Sprague ISD was actually one of my former clients, and they had a need for a construction supervisor, and that's where I met Stuart Snow. Stuart and I both worked at Sprague ISD for a period of time. And I was fortunate to be hired there at Spring. And when the opportunity at Cy-Fair came about, I came to Cy-Fair. But what I learned was I never saw so much passion that teachers and educators had in doing the right thing for kids. And that really hit my soul, and it really determined that, hey, I need to stick this out and stay on the school district side and be able to take my expertise and bring it to the table to try to benefit the school district and the students we serve. And I'm glad I had that experience to do that. It's just been a tremendous growth that we hit. When I started here, we had 3 people, Bill Stice, myself, we had a secretary, and I think Claude Jose. And then now the department is up to almost 30 people, I believe now. And we've just had continued growth over the years. And one of the big challenges we always had is we had multiple bond programs overlapping each other. You know, the first year we had one, and typically we did a 5-year program, but it was every 3 years we were doing bond elections, so we always had the overlap of trying to finish the first one, and then now we're starting the second one and trying to coordinate that. But we had a great team to make that all organized and do it in a very effective way. I'm getting ready to close now, so you're good. I would like to close with the following. I've had a remarkable and rewarding career knowing that I've had some small positive impact to the hundreds of thousands of students that attended our school facilities. After the board approved me as the namesake for Sprague Middle School, I visited several times with Ms. Bradley. In one of those visits, she shared with me the vision she developed to create a very unique culture for this campus. She called it the Sprague Way. I was so very touched with this vision and culture she wanted to create for the Sprague Cubs here. So you're probably wondering what is the Sprague Way? Well, the Sprague Way is, building the Sprague Way is the letter C, culturize with integrity and purpose. The letter U, understand with empathy and respect. The letter B, build a system of excellence. And the letter S, strive for greatness and positive interactions each day. Elizabeth, you have truly captured what I've always tried to believe in and strive for in building teams and organizations for greatness and success. I truly believe the Sprague Way culture you've established here at Sprague Middle School will have a profound positive impact for the students in this community. There is no doubt that the students that walk through the halls of this campus will achieve greatness because of your leadership and the great staff you've assembled for the building and living each day the Sprague Way. Just think, if most people would live the Sprague Way, imagine how good the world would be. Thank you all for this incredible honor.
Thank you so much. It has been a true honor building the Sprague Way, and when Mr. Sprague and Mrs. Sprague walk the campus, he really is like a celebrity. I don't know if you've been around middle school kids lately, but they're changing classes and they will just stop and they go, oh my gosh, that's Mr. Sprague. And it's really endearing how just fascinated they are with him. And they want to ask him questions, and we don't allow cell phones. They'd love to take selfies, I'm sure, but he is definitely a celebrity here, and we love having him here when he gets to come and visit. So thank you very much when you do get to come. And I loved hearing the word integrity because that is part of the Sprague Way, and I heard that multiple times from multiple speakers today. So I would like to now invite everyone. We have a reception in our rotunda, which is just around, you can get there either direction from behind the stage here. But we have a reception for everyone, so I'd like to invite you to make your way to our rotunda or the other side of the learning stairs, and you can enjoy a live reception. And welcome, and thank you so much for coming this evening. Congratulations.